Hey, what's going on, everybody? Shane here from Vulgar Display Gaming, and today I'm joined by Spooky, the mastermind behind the band Spellgrinder. And today we're going to go through his new album, Planet of the Vampires, and we're going to go track by track, and we're going to go through talking about each track. So let's start off with, for those of you who don't know, sum up your band for us real quick, Spooky.
Thank you so much. All right. I'm Spooky. My band is called Spellgrinder. We are horror-themed heavy metal. I throw in a couple other little secret ingredients just to make it cooler than most other shit you hear, but we hold to being heavy metal, and everything is horror-themed. Really, we've been rocking for... I don't know. I think we're coming up on
like 4 years, right?
It's about that, which is light years. It's a hard thing.
Shit.
To keep a band together that long.
And 2 albums in 4 years. So the first album was great, and this album coming out already, like hell yeah, And by the way, if people don't know, the new album comes out July 4th. This will be airing the day after. So you already have a chance to, if you're watching live, you may be winning one right now because we are giving away 2 vinyls. And you could go pick this up. Look at that. Look at that fucking art. By the way, let's go to the album real quick. Pull that bad boy up. Pull it out of the sleeve. Let's see that beautiful artwork.
You don't want that fucking glare on?
Yeah, we don't want that fucking glare.
You got it.
We'll have some better pictures of it up. But hell yeah, look at the Planet of the Vampires. Let's start off with that real quick. What made you come up with Planet of the Vampires? You're watching Planet of the Apes, and why wasn't there a Planet of the Vampires?
Oh, I'll tell you right now, there was a Planet of the Vampires, but it's okay if you didn't hear about it because it's a shit fucking movie. But
hey, those are the best. Those old B horror movies. I fucking love them. So I'll have to check that out now.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good watch. It's just it's not built to be on any top 10 list. It is on the top 10 list of movies about planets of vampires. But where's that list? It's an obscure list. So yeah, with the title of the album, originally I was just going to call the album Spellgrinder 2 because I like Danzig a lot. And I like Led Zeppelin a lot. And there's bands that they're just too cool for school, and their second album
is just always 2.
Yeah, it's 2. And so I thought that's a cool thing to do. Danzig 2 also has it has a name too. But Spellgrinder, our first album, is self-titled, so I call that Spellgrinder 1. And so I was going to call it Spellgrinder 2, and then I kind of wrote it out so it said Spellgrinder, and it had the numeral for 2 there, and I was like, that looks like stomp shit. It doesn't have the symmetry.
Yeah, it's just too long. It's awkward.
Yeah, it didn't get me. So I said, there's got to be something better, and we got some humdingers for song titles on this album.
Let's get to the first one then. Tell me about the first track, and let's get into it and listen to it.
All right, Planet of the Vampires. I was watching, some old horror sci-fi movie called Planet of the Vampires, and I've done this with a lot of movies where you just kind of sit down, put it on, and I just got a notepad out and concepts, phrases, little things through the movie, and I just start writing rhymes and get to the end of the movie. Sometimes you have bullshit, sometimes you got a track, and with the bullshit, sometimes you go and whittle and into something usable. I write at least 5 songs a day. It's my morning ritual. I wake up, drink coffee, play video games, watch a movie, and write songs. And
doesn't sound like a bad life.
It's a terrible life, but that's the high point of it. I wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. every day because when life does kick in, it's so intense. So really, that's my time to myself. And that's the secret of being in a band is we should be out doing drugs and fucking chicks all the time, but you got to write the songs, you got to practice your instrument. There's a lot of discipline. And so, yeah, like that was just one of those things. I was watching the movie and like gravity increasing rapidly, that's in the movie. Like disengage automatic control switch in the manual. Like I was like, that's a fucking rhyme. I'm putting that in there. Just all this stuff. And really, so I did mess stuff up. So I was gonna change it. It was gonna be vampires from Planet X, and the chorus was like vampires from Planet X, blood drinking, having sex. That's
Hell yeah.
funny, but it's not good in a song. It's
Yeah.
like it's ham-fisted, you know.
Mhm.
And I was like, there's a better way, so I switched it back to Planet of the Vampires and listened back. I was like, no, this is way better. But you will hear in the song, there's a couple like vampires from Planet X. And that's just the shadow of the old form of the song coming in. Because that's another thing about those old shit movies is, you know, they weren't really keeping it tight. And so you, at some point, some promoter would change the name of the movie, but there would still be evidence of the previous movie name on the fucking film. And that's hilarious to me. So I left it in.
Fuck yeah. So let's get into this, the first track off the album, Planet of the Vampires. Hell yeah. Fucking killer first track.
Thank you. Yeah. It sets a tone.
Oh, it absolutely does. That was a fucking great track. I love the chorus. I think that fits well. And like you were saying, from Planet X, you're trying to go off of that. That was awesome.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
It's a beast. It's a stupid song.
Hey, isn't that what all rock and roll is? Those cheesy, catchy songs that just fucking kick ass, and I fucking love it.
That's the highest calling in rock and roll. Like, it's way harder to write Johnny Be Good than it is to write Imagine. Like, there's something kind of easier about, like, if you have more reverence and melody in this and more chords, like, you have more tools, but like, to really strip it down, make it fast, stupid, and iconic, like, that's really hard to do. And that's the challenge, that's fun stuff.
Hell yeah. Fucking the song flowed phenomenally. How did you go about structuring this song? Like, how did you want that to flow? Because, like, I think the chorus was fucking great. Those chuggy fucking, like, heavy riffs. I fucking love it.
Thank you. I structured it with every song I write in a million different ways, because, like, part of the discipline of creating is like I could be like, well, I only write if I've smoked 2 joints and it's a full moon, and you're holding your art for ransom when you do that. And my deal is like, from time to time you get writer's block. Tough shit. You still got to write 5 songs. They better not suck. So you always got to find a way to do it. With that song in particular, I started working on the bones of it during the first album, and it was called Scratch on the 8, and it was I had this concept, and I'll probably use it in the future, but I had a concept of, life is going good, like you're running the table, and then you scratch on the 8 ball and everything's fucked, and it's just like a concept in my life. It's just like, I'll just be ruling, and then you scratch on the 8, and it's like, well, fuck, I guess I'm fucked. And so I took that concept, and then I was putting it to where, like, there's this guy, and he's a pool shark, and then he gets hustled by the fucking devil, and they play a game of Pool with Soul. And I was like, oh yeah, fuck, all of our songs are basically like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
That's what I'm saying. There's always like a storytelling aspect to your songs. Like I hope we get to see some fucking killer music videos from each one of these tracks.
You will. They're not all going to be like programmatic. They're not always going to follow the structure narrative of the song, because that's just a little too up the middle. And also, like, I do write little short films, but I will write short films so that the production value is easy. Like, instead of putting it on Mars, I'll put it like in my backyard.
Well, your landscape is pretty much Mars. If people don't know,
no, you're actually right. Yeah.
you're horror rockers living in the desert.
Yeah. No, it takes a lot of courage to not be in a stoner doom.
That's literally what I was gonna say. I was like, yeah, how are you guys not in the stoner doom category? Because you got like Machias, like so many great bands came from that area,
and that's all people out here want to fucking play too. So it's really hard. Like, when I'm auditioning cats, like, they'll come in and they'll be like, yeah, that's cool, but why don't we make it sound like
slower?
And it's like, no.
You're like, there needs to be that sleaze out here. It can't just be all stoner doom stuff out here.
Well, yeah, like it does me good to play music like this. I'm very contradictory in nature. I live to bum people out. I live to challenge people, and I wanted something that opposes it. Like when I first moved out to the desert, like 20 years ago. I mean, I was like playing country and Western and stuff, and I loved Graham Parsons and doing morphine and tequila and all that stuff. and then I came out here, and I was still a rock and roller. Like, that's that. But I came out here and I was like, fuck that. I gotta bum these hippies out, and I just lean into my more dangerous nature, you know. Then I moved away, came back, and but I had the concept. I wanted to have this heavy metal band that hit like Danzig and Pantera. So yeah, like the kind of the intro for Planet of the Vampires. I thought that was kind of Pantera-y. It was very rhythmic,
Yeah.
you know. But then that riff that comes in my mind, that's a very kind of like Motley Crue meets Pantera riff. You know, there's some Crue in there, and you know.
Well, yeah, keep going. Sorry, I had a.
No, there's just a lot of shit. The like the breakdown part, you know, a little Undercover Sabbath, big, like a breakdown happening. Like the timing signature on the choruses changes throughout the song because it's what feels right. And so yeah, when I'm gritting out the structure of the song, I'm just like, all right, yeah, I want to go here, I want to go here, I want to have a pre-chorus, I want to just sneak at that and then go to here, and then you just start seeing, is this flowing? Is this boring? Sometimes you just got to shake the fucking etch-a-sketch and like start over. But I'm going for maximum impact. I have an incredibly short attention span, and apparently everyone else does.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me.
You look at your metrics and it's like, yeah, you had 3 zillion people listen to your song. It's like, well, how much on average did they listen to? 30 seconds. Like, all right, say what you got to say in 30 seconds and just keep on throwing out hooks, grabbers, challenges, and you could just take any fucking cross section of that song and I think it holds up. It's interesting. The production is slamming.
Hell yeah. And you mixed and produced it yourself too, right?
I produced myself. So mixing and mastering is the only thing I don't do.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I can do it.
You know, it's always better to have somebody else, another set of ears on it anyway, you know?
Well, I mean, like, here's the deal. If I had that skill and it wasn't lacking, I would do it myself because it's fucking cheaper. Like, really, it's expensive to be in a band. The more you can do for yourself, the more you can spend on other stuff, you know? But I realized going in, I mean, before the first album, I knew, because I already had rough mixes of everything, where I mixed it, tried to run it through my Abbey Road mastering system on Pro Tools, you know? And it just sounds like boring ass stomp shit, and I really wanted Spellgrinder. I wanted Spellgrinder when you put us on the radio. I wanted the song before us and the song after us to sound like fucking garbage because Spellgrinder sounds so fucking huge. And that's after just fucking a lifetime of my shit sounding like it's in a tin can. And so, you know.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of hooks and grabbing attention, so the intro track, the intro sample, did you pull like a Guns N' Roses Rocket Queen? Is that genuine fucking?
No, that's not. So I have fucked around with that in the past, but like, I really don't want people thinking, oh my God, that's Nephthys getting railed out. Like, no. With that, I bopped another chick.
Okay.
No, like I had the song, but I wanted to have a little bit of just atmosphere before the track kicked in, just to
that
like
sleaziness to kick off the song. Yeah,
some danger, some textures, some dynamics.
It works great.
Yeah. So yeah, there was the straw slurping sounds, which I slurped a drink out of a straw. I got that. I found a bitch moaning on the internet, and I just fucking like put a microphone on my computer, and so there's that, and I had that for a while, but it was a little too on the nose, but not enough atmosphere. I wanted to have something more, so I got my synthesizer over here, my micro Korg. And I found some kind of sound, so I'm putting that kind of spaceship, Starship Enterprise noise over there. And I was like, there's something else. And so I found a wind, like howling wind, spooky howling wind. and I stuck that through a fucking envelope filter just to give it some like some 80s skank on it, you know, and be fucking hold. There was an intro thing.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. No,
but
so
I
it's
wasn't gonna do like the holy diver. Like that shit wasn't gonna last for like 45 seconds.
no.
I tried to get to it.
Yeah, that's the thing with like intro samples, stuff like that. I don't want it to last like half of a song, you know. It's like, you got what you got to say in like 20, 30 seconds. I think that's enough, maybe 40 seconds. And I feel like that was just enough leading into the song. It blended in real well. Okay, as well as that's the title track too. So it's like, why did you want to put that? I know sequencing, or how is it, when you align the tracks right on the record, why did you want that one to be first? Usually title tracks are towards the end.
Yeah, well, the title came last, so I had the track listing already, you know, and that was just the coolest title. I think vampires, very cool.
Well, these are
vampire.
Yeah,
I'm 120 years old. This is not a Coors. This is actual fucking blood.
Hey, there you go. You know,
it's the blood of a guy that drank Coors, but like.
So it's like water, right? You're just drinking water.
Yeah, it's the piss of a guy that drank Coors.
There you go. Right, it's the same damn thing. I mean, that's all I drink.
Manly American beer, you know,
right? It's the fucking brewed in the Rockies.
Yeah, man, I like it. It's good. I like the color of the can, you know.
But see, yours doesn't have mountains on it. Mine does. Well, this one does have a mountain. It's got like a little sound wave. But
yeah, you gotta pay extra for that.
Yeah. But hey, if anybody from Coors is watching, we would love sponsor both of us. We will take the Coors Light or Coors Banquet sponsorship.
Yeah.
You know. So hell yeah. Move it on. Let's go on to the second track, Playing with the Devil. Are you actually playing with the devil, or are you guys like jerking off with the devil? What's going on with that one? How are you playing with them?
It's a cautionary. So again, it's a concept that's kind of funny to me. I was raised, you know, my mom was really freaked out by divination. Like,
So hey, how are we playing with the devil in the next track?
Well, when I was a kid, my mom was really suspicious that if you mess around with certain things, you could get possessed. You know, don't play with Ouija boards. Don't play with Magic the Gathering cards.
I love magic. I'm a huge magic nerd.
Like, don't do this. Like, this
hey, there you go.
Like, the devil is going to... So, you know, she's very spooked. That, to me, it was always a theme growing up. It's like, oh my God, am I going to be possessed because I'm watching this movie? Am I going to... Like, it's funny. Combine that with... there's a song called I Don't Want to Play House by Tammy Wynette. About, like, you know, watching her kids, and she hears them just saying, I don't want to play house. Made my mama cry because, you know, just parents watching their kids to see what they're doing. And this was a cautionary tale about, hey, moms, watch your kids. Like, what are they doing? They could be in the other room summoning the devil. And that's basically what the whole... It's not pro-Satan. It's just like...
It's a fun story. These kids summon the fucking... Story. Yeah. Hell yeah.
There's also this other theme that goes through a lot of my music. There's a lot of bands nowadays where they like to make Satan feel safe. I don't like that because I'm a dangerous, bad person. And I like things that are dangerous and bad. And the imagery of Satan and hell, those are nice themes that, like, all right, cool, yeah, this is bad. This bums out people's moms. Like, the trick is not to, like, make it so your mom likes the devil. Like, why would you not want to piss off your parents? Like, if you want everyone to think you're cool, go and be safe. But, like, leave the devil alone. And so, like Ghost, I like Ghost. They're fine, but they're so safe. And I tried to make it seem like the devil's like this cool guy. He just needs
really poppy.
That's very uncool to me. My friends are in a band called Twin Temple.
Oh, I love Twin Temple. Seen them a bunch of times.
They're
great.
like they're best friends of mine from like 20 years ago. We were in LA club bands together. We were glam rockers, Sunset Strip, sleazies, and we used to open up for each other all the time in their previous bands. I won't out them, but it wasn't satanic, but it sounded exactly like they sound now. It just wasn't satanic. But like, I'm really proud of them. They're doing great. Out of all the bands from the scene back then, they're the only ones that made it. And they deserved it. They were working their butts off. But I hate that they're like saying Satan is a cool dude. He's a feminist. He's a Democrat. He recycles. It's just like, shut the fuck up. Like, the devil's bad.
What happened to, it's like the old black metal stuff. That's what, like, Satan's like, oh shit, this is like, he'll fuck you up. That kind of Satan.
Yeah, that suits me more. I like allowing the devil to be dangerous. And so I put a dangerous devil in my songs, and that's funny to me.
Hell yeah. Because you don't, like you said, you don't see that nowadays. Satanism and all this imagery has become so commercialized. And like you said, it's gotten safe. It's gotten a little bit more acceptable. It's not like the 70s where you had everybody's like, Kiss, Knights in the Service of Satan, and they weren't even that safe. Like, come on, that shit was just like poppy stuff, safe stuff back then. But
how
people,
the fuck you bum out your parents?
Nothing scares them. What scares anybody nowadays? You turn on the news, that shit's terrifying. That's the real shit. So
I exist to bum out parents like my own. My own parents are so fucking disappointed.
Well, hey, let's get to this next track. Then I'm looking forward to it.
Cool.
Hell yeah, dude. If so, everybody knows too. We're actually listening to this live. So sorry, we aren't doing no. Oh, we'll just edit this in later. This is live reactions. I've listened to the album already twice. I fucking think it's great. And I was gonna say with this song, especially, I think the next one too that we'll get into. Dude, this reminds me, like, I'm a huge Dokken fan. I don't know if you are. I love Dokken, Queensryche. But like the guitar riffs in the beginning just reminded me of like Dokken, immediately.
Yeah, thank you. I was fucking around with that riff. I wanted something that was like, it was part Dio. It was part, really, I mean, I like Rat a lot.
Oh, I love Rat. That's another band too, I was gonna say.
The first two Rat albums, like, every fucking riff, every intro riff is a fucking brick house.
It's iconic too. You can recognize, oh, this is Rat. Their tone. Yeah. I was gonna say, how did you come up with the overall guitar tone? How did you want to approach that? I guess were you listening to a lot of Rat? You're like, man, I love this tone.
Oh god, this. I'm gonna try to keep this tight, okay? Like in the first album, every fucking guitar on that album was a Randall Ultimate Nullifier, the Scott Ian signature amp, which it's Randall, but it was Fortin designed, and it pummels. It's really aggressive. And then I would be using a Fortin Grind or a Fortin 33. I got both of them. They're the same fucking pedal, but I got both of them. And a Fortin Zool, the noise gate, because you got a lot of gain on tap.
Hell yeah.
That was the sound. And I wanted something that was part Anthrax guitar tone, which I think out of all the big four, they got the best fucking guitar tone every day. In my opinion. Forgive me, the internet. But
fuck everybody else's opinions anyway. Who cares?
I mean, everyone else's opinion, but mine is right.
Exactly. That's the number one rule on the internet, right? Everybody has an opinion, but I'm right.
Yeah, I taught him that. Everyone used to be a little more like open-minded. I was like, fuck that. Don't be a pussy.
Stand for your shit, motherfuckers.
Yeah, die on that hill.
Yes. Even if you're wrong, double down on it. Own that shit.
Yeah, and every guitar on that first album. I mean, I started off playing with a Dean Dimebag guitar with the Bill Lawrence in the bridge with the floating Floyd, and it forced me to play guitar in a way that's slightly unnatural to me. Like I've been really like nailing down my heavy metal chops for, like when I did the first album, I'd been like 5 years deep, because I'm a rock and roller, punk rocker, rock and roller. Heavy metal has some certain isms that you really need to like check if you want to like syncopate that shit, give it the power, give it the presence, which makes it heavy metal and not just like overly aggressive hard rock.
Yeah,
And I didn't want the first album to be hard rock. I wanted it to be heavy metal, so I did some isms, right? And that was cool, but it was very challenging for me to, like, on certain songs, to get a tone and just kind of hold on to that beast. And I knew that with the second album, I wanted to put it in more of a zone that was like my comfort zone. So this album, this is heavy metal. Like, a lot of people, early Priest is not heavy metal. No, yes, it is. Shit. Like, people think that shit has to be fucking like butt vomit to be heavy metal, but that's not like heavy metal. It has certain rules, has certain bases, boxes you gotta check.
Yeah.
And that it's heavy metal. This album's heavy metal. Like the main inspiration, like sonically, was like Shout at the Devil by Motley Crue and Ultimate Sin by Ozzy. I love the Ultimate Sin album. It's very stripped down, but sonically it's very exciting for me. The drums are it's Randy Castillo just slamming. Jakey Lee's guitar tone is fucking like
phenomenal.
mean.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, so I wanted to play on something that was more natural to me. like behind me right here, I got a
That's it.
Friedman
And the
Still X-Head,
Soldano, yeah.
Soldano Slow 100. Um, all the leads on this album are the Slow 100 because I
Mhm.
wanted to get in that like late 80s Motley Crue, late 80s Rat zone. But all the rhythm guitars are it's a Wizard W800, which, are you familiar with Wizard?
It's funny, I was going to mention, I have all this written down right here. It's like, oh, you're using the gear as the Wizard 800 and the Soldano Slow 100 amps.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, we'll edit it out, and then you could just be like, "Damn, like, damn, dude, good job." Yeah,
No. Let's just keep it in, I'm just saying, I want everybody to know I was prepared. I have my notes.
dude, like you're pro. You are pro.
I am not pro. Look at this room. This is not pro.
That's a well curated room. It's not boring. Like, I look like a fucking like.
No,
everyone knows that this
that's
is
a black label. That's a Doom Crew Inc. Yeah, it's badass.
Sometimes people are like, "So what's going on, dude? Are you like, are you in layer? Like,
Hey, just so everybody knows, I am not in a basement. There is a window with sunlight behind me.
Yeah. So
no,
yeah,
back to the gear.
I wanted to have the Wizard because the Wizard, that it's based on a JCM 800, but it's just dialed in, more customized. It's made by the guy that teched all of AC/DC's amps, and AC/DC were playing Wizards forever, and AC/DC I think has the greatest fucking guitar tone ever. The W800 ain't the one that AC/DC plays on. This is more of that kind of like 80s cock rock kind of amp, and it fucking rules. But yeah, I had the rhythm guitar tone for the whole album is W800 with a Fortin modded Maxon, like a tube screamer. That pushing the Wizard is just like, oh
yeah. This is some crunchy fucking riffing. Like I said, it reminded me of like a George Lynch kind of guitar tone, but yeah. I could see the Rat, like you're going for that iconic opening riff where you're like, oh fuck, like you could tell it's that tone, like we said about Rat, you could tell it's a Rat song. If I hear that, I'm like, oh, that's Spellgrinder. I fucking love that when bands get that, because if you ever listen to some bands, right? Oh, who the fuck is this? Oh, you try to figure it out. But with certain bands, same with AC/DC, Anthrax, like they have their tone. And when you hear the first chord being struck, you're like, oh, I don't know the song, but I know it's AC/DC.
Exactamundo. Having like a sonic footprint. And
that is key.
Everything has meaning.
Yeah, that's again, it's how people could recognize you. It only helps you because you don't want to blend in with everybody, but your tone is, I fucking love the guitar tone, so I just wanted to talk about that.
Thank you. Most of the time I'm double tracking shit, but like on the first album, everything is double tracked. Like all the rhythms are double tracked all the time. Because of that, there's just no fucking dynamics. Like everything is so slammed, and it's fun. But I challenged myself to have a little bit more dynamics on this album. Not too much. It's not like fucking jazz, but like, there's some levels. So the other thing too is, I went to Psycho Las Vegas.
I love Psycho. That was my fucking favorite festival. Sorry, I get excited when people Psycho. Yeah. I'm like, hands down, one of the best festivals. That and Hell's Heroes, like the best festivals in the country, I think.
I didn't attend Hell's Heroes, but like Psycho there were revelations for me because, I was watching a lot of bands. Some bands I was already familiar with, but
just discovering so many good bands.
Yeah, well, really discovering formulas. Because a lot of those sound mixes, the live sound mixes, they were okay. Like really, you're hearing the drums.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably hearing the vocals, maybe you're not, but like the guitars are kind of a din, and I'm listening to just the way that the structures of the songs are and the way that the audiences react to that, because I had already been playing the first album live out, and there's no room on that out. It's very lean. Like, it's a punk rock. It has a lot of punk rock in it, in that the songs are like 2.5 to 3 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's very just wham bam thank you man. And I didn't build in a lot of moments to step away from the microphone or step away from my wah-wah pedal, or like, you know, like, you're at work when you're playing that first album, and I wanted to build in some breakdowns. I wanted to build in some times where
you can fucking headbang. Yeah. You need those like, moments.
You know, go out. I want to see everyone doing some fucking push-ups. You know, so,
right?
I'll never do that. Like, Spellgrinder is never going to be peak.
Come on, Spellgrinder. We got to be playing some Magic too. Got to take a thing from Frozen Soul. Or did they already take it? I got some playing Magic in their pit, but come on, Spellgrinder. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, this is a Magic the Gathering band too.
No, I want people to have intercourse.
Hey,
shows.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not like boff music, but like, I want to have intercourse instead of like jump fly kits and walls of death and stuff. I mean, you remember what happened at fucking Psycho for Suicidal Tendencies?
Oh,
Wall of Death. They had to shut down the fucking show for 10 minutes. That's
so I'll say what happened with that. That was, my buddy was the dude that ran into that guy that you fucking like fell down, and they stopped it. My buddy came back. She was like, dude, I think I accidentally killed somebody. Some dude hit me from the behind, and I ran into that guy, and he fell down. I was like, fuck, dude, is he okay? He's like, they're stretchering him out. He was like, the whole day is like, the next day, like, check the newspaper. Did anybody die? Or like looking online, did anybody die at Psycho? He's like, okay, the guy was okay. I'm like, yeah, dude, it wasn't your fault. You stopped. He was waving people down. He's like, oh shit, stop. This dude's head bounced off the fucking floor. But yes, let's have nice pits.
It's not called a wall of life.
You need to start the wall of love, you know, consensually, everybody. Fuck.
Go around and like hug each other.
I mean, the show will probably smell funny by the end of it, but
yeah.
The shows already start to smell funny from the beginning at this point, you know? Motherfuckers need deodorant.
It's rough. There's a lot of natural deodorants now, so it's like lavender and ass.
Yeah, right. That's it. There you go. Start selling your own deodorant, lavender and ass. Let's tee us up for this next one. Get Out, Shock City. Is it like you going off an Ace Frehley thing where he touched the stage, you got shocked, you were like, oh shit, fucking stuck a fork in a socket.
The second show that I ever played in my life was a talent show in like 9th grade. I had a punk rock band called the Antisocials, and we played a talent show at school, and I step up to the mic. There's a curtain down. I step up to the mic, and bam, it shocked me in the face. And I was like, yo, what's like, get a pop screen or like ground this shit, right? And then like the teacher that was working AV says, well, just don't put your mouth on it. I was like, you fucking moron, what the fuck do you mean don't put my fucking mouth on? You fucking and I was like losing my fucking mind because I have problems. The thing is, I was losing my fucking mind on a live mic in an auditorium.
Hey, that's setting the tone for the talent show. They're like, oh, fuck.
So they come out with a pop screen, the curtains open, and everyone in the audience is like,
fuck you.
It's like, we're the fucking Antisocials. We just started
there you go.
Like Ramones style punk rock band, and we were supposed to play one song. We played 4, and everyone wanted to disqualify us. I almost got suspended from school, but we ended up winning 4th place.
Hey, there you go. 4th place, didn't get suspended. I take that as a win. Everybody is shocked, huh? So is that...
this song is not about that. This song is... so we're a shock rock band, you know. We're kind of... we're heavy metal, but like we have that shock glam DNA strand in us, you know. There's a lot of undercover Alice Cooper, T-Rex, The Sweep. You know, we're not poodle rock, but we have like a very glamorous, you know, that just, there's certain isms in the music, and I like shock rock, and I like being shocking. So you will find the word shock used in songs throughout both albums because it's funny to me. Yeah. Shock City has different meanings. It's I wanted something that sounded kind of iconic. Get Out, the whole concept of that, like when my wife and I were living in Hollywood, we used to always like think, because traffic is shit, right? If there's
You're
like a
telling me.
bomb, if there's an attack, if there's something,
You're fucked.
you're not getting out of
Yeah.
fucking town. You're gonna get on, I don't know, you're gonna get on Sunset, you're gonna get on the 10, and then you're just gonna sit there for the rest of your fucking life and die. And we would think about what are we gonna do? And there's actually this secret hideout. It's called the Armageddon Highway to get out of LA. You can like Google that shit. It's pretty.
Well, don't give away the secret now. I don't need everybody else taking it. You tell me afterwards. I need to get
the
out.
Bat Cave is? You know the Bat Cave?
No.
You go hiking, right? You know.
Oh, I've been up to Hollywood Hills. The sign, is it up that way? I went to the Santa Monica was the Nazi bunker. I went up there.
All right, yeah. I've never gone up there sober, so like I might not have the directions right. We'll keep it secret, but
yeah.
The Armageddon Highway, and so Get Out was kind of about our paranoia and fears about having to leave LA. However, I wrote the song in 2021, 22. I was like, get out, Shock City tonight, flesh-eating virus is taking a bite. I was kicking around
Hell yeah.
for the last years. I thought they were funny. Like the weatherman's face drooped off of the bone. I thought that was funny. So like there was like years I'm just walking around the house singing that like an asshole. And like musically the song is kind of like School's Out by Alice Cooper. It kind of has almost that vibe, but it's just way gnarlier. And then I wrote it because in 2020, my wife and I moved to 29 Palms from Texas. And we moved out here, and at the same time, the real cool thing is like you have all these like LA people going like, stay home and save lives. But like what they're not telling you is that every fucking weekend they come out here to the Joshua Tree National Park and there's gridlock traffic so that they can like get content for Instagram. And so there's a theme in the song about all these fucking people, like they were bringing their disease out to Joshua Tree, and but I didn't want to have it be like a topical fucking COVID song because like shit's so.
Hey man, like this shit's turning us into zombies anyway, you know?
Yeah, it's boring. So there was other stuff, and yes, the flesh-eating virus and retreating to more natural areas, and that's.
Yeah. So, again, this song, for people at home listening to wherever you are, please keep in mind getting your bug out bag ready, getting your plan escape routes ready. That's what should come to mind when we're listening to this. So let's kick it off with the third track off the album, Get Out, Shock City. Fuck yeah. The intro and outro are so good. It just paints that whole picture of the apocalyptic vibe going. I fucking love it. You know?
Thank you. Yeah, I like having like production that helps with the flow and storytelling and just makes the
Oh,
album
yeah.
more fun to listen to. And just getting the right amounts of that shit in because you can go nuts.
Yeah, the way that song's structured, it's like the term I've heard it recently. It was like watching some dude like talk about movies and stuff. It's like a bookend kind of song. You start with the apocalyptic setting with the siren going off. You're painting that picture of doom and everything, and you're closing off with it saying like, "Hey, fuck, look, it's still going on," and then the explosion at the end. Like it goes perfectly with everything. That bookend, intro outro. I fucking love it.
Really happy, man. Like that's cool. You're a cool dude. Like,
I mean,
when I'm making this shit, it's like I think it's cool. Like,
no,
I like it.
I think it flows perfectly. That's why I like listening to this again. It's like as I'm drinking more, I'm just like getting more into it. By the end of this, I'll probably be windmilling my head around.
Oh, yeah, dude, like, yeah. 3 years in, this is the best album you've ever heard.
Hey, we're 3 tracks in. I fucking love it. I love the flow of the album so far. It's just fun, sleazy fucking rock and roll. It's what it should be. I'm having a great time listening to it again. I hope everybody else is too. And again, when coming to this, I always thought it was like Armageddon Highway. That's kind of cool. It's like a highway to hell kind of shit. I didn't know it was an actual thing. Look at that. And you're shouting out 29 Palms. There you go. You're making fucking 29 Stumps famous right there.
I almost took that shit out just because it's like no one can relate to that. But really, like, I'm into entertaining myself. I do. We have a good following out here. We have a good scene out here in the high desert, and Spellgrinder rules them all. We're fucking Sauron out here, like I gave fucking rings to everyone and now I control them. And
but I mean, look, as an artist, if you're not making music for yourself, are you making music for anybody? Because when bands don't make music for themselves, what the fuck is the music for then? Like, what the fuck? There's no joy in it. There's no passion behind it anymore. You're just a walking husk that's selling out, making fucking commercial shit that's going to play in the grocery store, and you'll forever be that, oh, I heard this at the grocery store today's band, or song.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing about selling out is fucking money.
No. I mean, look, they're no problem. Fucking like, I hate it when people are like, oh, Metallica sold out. I'm like, nah, dude. Like, they were still making shit they wanted to do. They have plenty of projects they did that nobody else liked. So I'm not saying in that aspect. I'm saying if you're not making music for yourself. Because you can still sell out as long as you still like that fucking music. You're still making. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. Well,
that's the thing. Like, I'm also. I mean, so I love Spellgrinder. Spellgrinder is me. It's my own. I love it. But like, I'm a musician.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a paid jobber for fucking years where, I get paid to go into sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid to go to gigs. I get paid to tour. I'm a hired gun. And actually, the drummer for Doc and Mick Brown, I toured with Mick Brown and we fucked shit up because we were the only 2 dudes on the tour that fucking drank and we fucked shit up.
Raising hell.
It was a Ted Nugent tour.
Fuck, man.
And he was drumming for Ted Nugent, and he had gotten in trouble because he had crashed a golf cart. He'd gotten like shit-faced and crashed a golf cart, and he'd gotten in trouble. And this is before I was on the tour. The original guitar player that was in the band I was in, he got fired. The band came and did like a 5-day break in LA, and they had to find a replacement. And I was playing with my band in Highland Park, like on York, and like in some vintage shop that my buddy owned. And my man Morgan was there, and he's like, "Yo, I just got hired to play drums in this band. We're touring with Ted Nugent. You want to do that?" And I was like, "Yup." because I fucking love the goddamn Nuge.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I've hung out with the Nuge. Like, I've gone to the
That's
Nuge's
fucking
house,
awesome.
shot guns and shit. Like,
it sucks. Ted Nugent is the one artist I've always wanted to see, but it's just, I get it. He doesn't want to play California. Like, but it just sucks what he does. He usually plays Big Bear, and it's like always on a weird date for me, and now he's not playing anymore. That's like my dad, he's seen him a bunch of times, and I'm like, fuck you, you know? I've always wanted to see him.
He's so fucking great.
I know.
He's so great.
I know.
He's a personality, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when I was touring with him, I didn't talk to him when I was touring with him. I was afraid of him. You know, he was, you know, the guy's like 1.5 feet taller than me. I'm 5'10", knocking on 5'11". Like, I'm not tall. Ted has got like 1.5 feet on me, and then like just because of like his gravitas, he feels like he's 10 feet tall. But like, you know, the guy like doing power slides off of Marshall stacks for 20 years, his knees were shot, and he was going through some stuff. This was in 2012 when I was touring with him, and I think he was on some like pain medication, and I think it was,
I mean, I can imagine
making him
that.
cranky.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like since then I've worked with I've shot guns with him in his ranch.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Like, he's a cool fucking dude.
Yeah.
we talk. I mean, I'm just talking riffs with him.
Yeah.
Like, I text with him. Like,
that's fucking awesome.
I send him riffs. Like, on the cover of Free for All, there's like a he's holding up one of those Birdlands, but there's no bridge on the guitar. And I've always wondered, like, why the fuck isn't there a bridge on that guitar? And I was like, I could fucking ask him. Like, I shouldn't. It's in poor taste. But I did it. And yeah, I texted him a picture. I was like, hey, Ted, hope you're doing good, my man. Like, why isn't there a bridge on the guitar on this album? And he's like, I'm calling you right now. And he calls me up and he just told me about it. It's just like, like, it's insane. And that's the glories of a misspent youth right there, you know? Like,
look, whether you agree with whatever the fuck Ted Nugent has to say or not, you cannot deny that he is a fucking guitar god. There's so many people, even like, I will say this, like Tom Morello and like Ted Nugent, that's politically opposite, but even Tom Morello like acknowledges it. He's like, I love Ted Nugent. He's a fucking great dude. It's like, that's the thing I hate when people try to judge people. Not to go on a tangent here, because I love Ted Nugent and I just fucking want people to know it's like, he's a fucking great dude. People, fuck all this bullshit. Don't judge people for their other shit. He's a guitar god, and I fucking have nothing more to say about it. But I'm fucking jealous.
I'll add this. I don't talk about my politics because it has nothing to do with the music. So, like, you know, like, my real name is not Spooky. I actually have a real name. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a son of a bitch. But you ain't going to know what kind of son of a bitch I am. But I'll tell you right now, the only reason that everyone knows who Ted Nugent is, aside from the fact that he's written about...
Iconic.
All time. Like,
iconic. Man.
Writing a great riff is not something that everyone can do. You got to know when to go extra. You got to know when to do less. Everything that he did, like, it's just, fuck you, dude. I can't believe you wrote that. And like, and he's the coolest, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we still talk about him, because we're not talking about fucking Johnny Winter as much we talk about Ted Nugent. We're not talking about fucking, like, he's a polarizing figure, but he's inspired countless musicians, and his music is timeless. And I fucking love Ted Nugent. And hey, I even like Damn Yankees. Yeah, Damn Yankees did not suck. I like that shit fucking Making the Band.
Yeah.
With Sebastian Bach and John Bonham and fucking... Jason Bonham.
Yeah, Jason Bonham and Scott Ian was on that shit too.
Yeah, and fucking Biohazard guy.
I know. Dude, I love Biohazard. Fucking great, great,
you know,
great, like, fucking hardcore bands.
But that's why
good hardcore.
Talk about Ted Nugent. Yeah. You need a gimmick. Like, you shouldn't.
Dude, but no, he's fucking true blue, sticks to his shit. That's what I love, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he's real generous, dude. He's intense.
Yeah.
And yeah, like having a conversation with him, like you don't need to talk that much.
Yeah. And look, I will say this too about like his aspects on hunting and everything. He's not a fucking trophy hunter. He doesn't like that shit either. He uses everything about an animal. I don't know. Great dude.
Yeah.
I fucking love Ted Nugent, and I'm just always so jealous because like everybody who's gotten to see him, but me, I've always missed it. I'm like fuck. And my dad's like, I hate looking through my dad's bag of tickets, where he's seen all these like great bands, like because he used to see bands up and down the strip all the time. He saw Eddie when he'd play with like his back towards the audience and shit. I'm like, man, fuck you, you know.
I saw Van Halen's last show ever.
Oh, in 2015. At the Hollywood Bowl, I was there too. I took my dad, and that
Son of a bitch.
yeah,
Were you at the one where they played Kimmel on Hollywood Boulevard?
No, I did. Yeah, I didn't go to that one.
I was like third row back in that. I think I got some Diamond Dave blood. I think I have hepatitis now.
But like fucking all these iconic bands, and like I owe it to just a quick tangent, like a post Father's Day thing, because I love my dad so much because he got me and all. Same with my mom. I have all my mom's old original pressings like Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses, all of this shit. My dad's a huge Kiss fan, and I fucking love Kiss, and he's seen them like I think since '76. He said like at least 250 times or something. He used to follow him around and see him like 10, 15 times in a year. And I always take him. That was our thing. So we went to the last Kiss show here. Like, I'd taken him 6 times to see Kiss, and I love that I could do that for him. And, you know, again, with all this music, it all ties in. I love Ted Nugent. I love all of this shit. It all fucking influences one another, you know?
Yeah, very cool, my man. Yeah. Yeah, props to our parents. You know, thank you for raising us good. Thank you.
The cool parents.
You know, yeah, it's not easy. I wouldn't know. I haven't raised any children, but if I did, I hope I did half as good as my parents.
Anyway, tangents aside, sorry, because we're all talking about cool fucking shit right here. Prime us up for Dr. Blackburn, the next track, number 4.
Ah, yes, Dr. Blackburn. I came up with the bones of this song when I was like 19 years old. Like I had like writer's block. I loved the Beatles and Bob Dylan. And I also loved this band called Big Elf, which was like a heavy metal band that sounds like Black Sabbath meets the Beatles meets Pink Floyd meets like ELP, and they're rad. They are rad. Yeah. Go listen to Big Elf. It's one word.
Check them out. Big Elf or Big Elk?
Big Elf. It's one word. Elf. Yeah.
Like an elf.
That plays 2 keyboards at the same time. Like,
I'll write that down.
Orange Stacks. Like, they're cool, man.
Wait.
They're actually. I can't believe more people don't know the band.
Let's shout them out. What is it? Big Elf?
Yeah, Big Elf. BIGELF.
Okay, so Big Elf, like elf. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. This song was. I was having really hard writer's block. I was really depressed. And I was in my room and I was watching the History Channel, you know, and there was this show on the History Channel about this Civil War Southern, like Confederate doctor named Dr. Blackburn. And he would take blankets that were infected by yellow fever victims. He would put them in chests and he would mail them up to the North. Like he was donating them to the war effort, but it was like a primitive germ warfare.
Yeah, that's fucking gnarly, man.
Yeah, and he was
what a scumbag.
So the South could win the Civil War, and he got caught and he got hanged. And the same kind of writing style I did for Planet of the Vampires. Same ritual writing Dr. Blackburn, but like 20 years prior, you know? Not 20 years, fuck, like 30 years. It was a long time ago, man. So I did that, and structurally the song was similar to that, but it was not heavy metal. Mm-hmm. And it didn't have those ice cream changes parts in it, the kind of 50s sounding stuff. That was not in the original composition, and it sounded really like drugged out and fucked up. You know, I was listening to like Strung Out Again by Elliott Smith, and like there was a lot of noise going on the original demo. It's crazy. And when I recorded it, I was like on like day 5 of like heroin withdrawals, and I was on mushrooms, so it's a loose demo. But
That's quite the come down right there. Jesus.
Hey man, you got to go through it to get to it.
Hey,
you don't have to go through that. Don't do that, kids. Like, listen, it was not good. But that song, it was just like I've had that demo like just in the annals of my computer forever, and
you resurrected it and brought us Dr.
I got
Blackburn.
an idea that like it could be like I could put in this riff that kind of moved in a Dio way, and then I did that, and I was like, there's something missing, and I put in the Ice Cream Changes parts, and I was like, this is dope, but not yet. Then I put in this like 80s pop metal fucking bridge section, and I was like, this is it. And so this song right here, like, this is a lot. It's got more words than any other song. It's programmatic, but it's on the album. It closes out side 1, and I think it's pretty fucking dope.
Fuck yeah. So let's spin this track up, Dr. Blackburn, while you watch us do weird headbanging shit and fucking air guitar. All right, let's jam it up.
Blackburn, the body's been undressed.
Fuck yeah, dude. That one had more of like a heavy metal, faster riff going on it.
Yeah, you got a little like Hangar 18 in there.
I fucking love it. The entire song, I was just thinking, I was like, oh man, it's such like a good horror track because it's a true fucked up story that you need Dr. Blackburn to come out like a mascot, some like zombie dude with a noose around his neck throwing blankets at people.
Yeah, no, like that. I think the video for that song should be programmatic.
Hell yeah.
Like you could have a lot of fun with that.
People opening up packages and then getting sick and dying. I don't know, exaggerate
That's
the yellow
wild.
fever, exaggerate the yellow fever kind of. I mean, I know it's not like a decaying virus, but you could do something like that. Like Dr. Blackbird's come back from the fucking grave. He's got a noose around his neck and he's like infecting people with shit.
Oh yeah, well I can just start coming up with this narrative, but like, oh, this is actually a conceptual album where like they go to the planet of the vampires, end up playing with the devil, then they have to get out. And then Dr. Blackburn comes along, gives them yellow fever, and then they have to eat sins.
Yeah, there you go. The Sin Eater is the next one. But yeah, it's a planet of sexy vampires with the devil's on there. He's trapped on the planet, and then you have to get out of the planet. Through the Armageddon Highway.
It's a very simple narrative. What part of it do you not understand?
Exactly.
I thought it was pretty self-explanatory. What the fuck?
Yeah. Again, you talked about this track a little bit more insight on it. I fucking loved it. I love the story behind it because it's a true story. It fucking flows. It's something visceral and real,
Yeah, it's the product of writer's block. It's recycled trash because like really like we all create all the time, and when I was like 19, 20, I just didn't know what to do with that shit. I was the best musician in my bedroom.
I mean, sometimes you got to sit on tracks and let them cook, let them stew. You come back to it. Like that's the thing. Like with being creative, sometimes. I heard this before where it's like just because you put so much time into something, you automatically think it's good. It's like, oh, this is great. But sometimes you got to step back from it. Say you did, so you don't go into a circle just dumping all this time into this, and it's not good. You're like, let me shelve this for a bit, come back with it when I'm not frustrated with a clear mind, and then you come up with this.
Yeah, well, it turns out you're right. Like I was thinking that this stuff was just like misfires and hot garbage, but like I did start kind of going through my back catalog, going through my demos. I still have every song I've ever written, like on pieces of paper in a fucking folder, and it's
you need
like
that
shit from when I was in middle school. It's embarrassing. I hope no one ever finds it. Like,
no, that's your origin story, and you could go back to it and say, hey, what was I thinking back then? Because your mindset changes, and maybe you do need to pull something out from middle school. Like, this is super cheesy and lame. I can make this better now.
Yeah, there's a couple recycled songs on Planet of the Vampires. Yeah, Dr. Blackburn is probably the oldest one on there, but Voodoo Fingers, that I've been kicking around concepts for that song for over 10 years, over 15 years. And then Bride of Frankenstein, that was another kind of piano ballad that I've been kicking around, but it wasn't about Bride of Frankenstein. It was about something that's just really uncool, and like, who the fuck wants to know about that? Like Spellgrinder doesn't sing about our feelings. We don't do that. I like stuff that does that, but like Spellgrinder's a feeling-free zone. It's stuff happening.
There's no power ballads on this album. There's no love ballads. No kicks.
There's a power ballad.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Yeah, it's a monster ballad. You ain't gonna be. As much as I love kicks, you ain't doing your. Don't close your eyes. There's nothing like that.
Yeah. No, like kicks.
I love kicks.
I do want to have like a Midnight Dynamite.
Oh yes, that is.
Like that. I want to put that on the next album.
Please do. But let's cue us up for Sin Eater real quick before we keep getting ahead of all these other tracks. Sin Eater, 5th track off the album.
Movie.
Exactly.
So the lyric themes comes off of an episode of Night Gallery, Rod Serling's follow-up to The Twilight Zone. And the episode is called Sins of the Father. And it's kind of a tale about, it's kind of about class. It's about wealth and what it buys you and what people do. And so it's old, there's a famine, and there's these poor people, and their jobs, their family's calling is they are sin eaters. And they show up to the house of a dying rich person. And you know, the poor people are starving. You get to the rich people's house and everyone's around like it's a funeral, and there's food everywhere. And the sin eater ritualistically eats the food and eats the sins of the guy that passed so that he can pass into heaven. And in that, he takes on his sins and he won't be.
But does that guy go to hell though?
I think so, but
that's a shit end of the bargain then.
Well, the sin eater is this guy's dad, and he's dying, and so the mom sends the son. So that's the sins of the father theme. The mom sends the son. She's like, "You're the sin eater now. You're gonna go. You're gonna eat the sins, and then you're gonna like steal food and bring it back so we can fucking eat." And he does that. He comes back and. You know, shit happens. I won't even tell you. I want you guys to go watch the episode, or don't even do that. Save time. Listen to the song.
So this is not Twilight Zone because it was Night Crawler.
Night Gallery.
Night Gallery. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got a whole pile of beers brewing over here. Sorry. So as we get through this,
I'm partying.
Yeah.
My Spellgrinder.
See, Spellgrinder koozies. Get them on the Bandcamp because I know I want one. I just got a Necrot koozie right now.
Very cool. So yeah, musically, there's this band that I like called Diamonds, and it's spelled D-I-E.
Oh, that's what Daniel DK's in it. Right?
Yeah.
They're great.
Panda.
Yeah.
See a Panda?
Yeah.
Okay, so I when they had Take on the Night, like that, she had reached out to me because she was trying to like book shows in LA. Like this is a long time ago.
And they've been around a while.
Good band. And then a couple years after that, they put out a song called "Ain't That Kind of Girl." Like when I first heard that song, I was like, "Oh, they could do better than this." But then I listened to it a couple more times, like, no, this is actually really good. And it has like this big beat, and it has like these kind of big, almost Run DMC heavy metal kind of riffs. And she almost kind of raps a couple times, the way she's kind of like spitting out lines. So this song is almost fucking white rap, you know? Like some of the delivery, you'll hear it, like I'll come in and I'll like nail in like the last line, like a fucking Beastie Boys song. Like,
Beastie Boys are great.
I love that shit.
Fuck yeah.
Like to me, it's heavy metal. It's cool. It's programmatic. There's some undercover grunge in here. You'll hear the grunge. You'll hear these big hooks. But I just wanted a song that hit like that to get that fucking party vibe.
Hell yeah.
To give the drummer a fucking break because the motherfucker has to work overtime.
And that's the thing about the album too. It's like, as I noticed, you start off strong and it's just going up, and then usually sometimes there's a lull in the center, but especially with this track and everything, now it brings that energy back up, you know, and then you kind of mellow out towards the end. So instead of like having it where it's like a kind of a big hump and then like this lull in the middle, and then the end, no, you're going up, and then you ease us on the way out, you know, with the Bride of Frankenstein and everything.
I appreciate that, yeah.
I think so. That's just my take on it.
This album is like a full, which it has peaks and valleys, but also it was built as two songs.
I think it's just,
I like the flow of each. It says flip it over. And there's only 8 songs, and 8-song albums, you either sink or swim with 8 songs. Like, if you're not saying enough in those 8 songs, you're fucked. But you can say just enough to the point where people just can't get enough of it.
Of course.
In my mind, that's what this album is.
There's this album, it's no filler, it's all killer, you know? So let's spin up Sin Eater real quick and let's get to it.
poison. I come to feed off the sin. For all the evil eaten, I will burn. Messenger waits at the door. The apple rots to the core. Removed from the shroud and drink from the earth. In heaven, I've come to feast. Table is set, fruit to the beast. Sin eater, I carry the weight. So you bless the gates. Sin eater, making me scream. Take your place and lick it clean. Sin, sin eater, sin, sin eater, sin eater. Second of the soul is past. Forgive us our trespass. Crucifix beside a pentagram. March for eternity. Stop for souls to see. Give me this man's sins. Forever damn. Live evil. Eat till you're done. The sins of the Father. Feed the Son. Sin leader, I carry the weight. So you pass the gates. Sin leader, making me scream. Take your place and lick it clean. Sin, sin leader, sin, sin leader, sin, sin leader. Live evil, eat till you're done. The sins of the Father, feed the Son. Sin eater, I carry the weight. So you pass the gates. Sin eater, making me scream. Take your place and lick it clean. Sin eater, sin eater, sin eater, sin eater, sin eater, sin eater, sin, sin, sin.
Fuck yeah. I love the whole chorus behind that track. The outro is fucking phenomenal. I love the wow, wow, instead of fading out. That fucking works great.
Thank you.
Such a killer track.
Thanks.
Such
Yeah,
a
man.
fucking... It's the track that you'll be headbanging. You know, you grab somebody, you're just fucking headbanging. When it goes into that chorus, like, fuck, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, in the secret of the Sin Eater, I carry the weight. That to me was like Rat. The way that the two guitars play together on that, it's very DeMartini Crosby, you know, but heavy metal.
Oh, that track just screams heavy metal. I fucking love the solos in it. They're great. They work with it while you still have that chugging riff going, and it carries that song where you're just fucking headbanging the whole time and you want to like air guitar. You know, I fucking loved it, man.
Thanks. And that might be the first song on the album where I actually play slide guitar. I do play some slide guitar on this album. There's no slide on the first album. I wanted to play heavy metal leads, you know?
Hell yeah.
And this one, I'm letting people in a little more. I'm not playing. I'm playing like a different guitar, different amp, and like I realize like you get to like what like third Rat album, third Motley Crue album, and for some reason these guys think that they play slide now, and they're okay. Like I actually fucking rip ass on slide because like I'm like a disciple of Dwayne Allman. I have all that in me,
Fuck yeah.
you know. And so I wanted to come out and just like get that kind of maturity in there, you know.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I love it when you're fucking doing all that shit. Are you a fan of COC, Corrosion of Conformity?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it was actually it sucked. It was like one of the last shows. I don't know if you know the band Trouble. Like I'm a huge Trouble fan too. great 80s like 80s 90s doom band. Check them out, Trouble. Eric Wagner, the singer, sadly passed away, but it was cool because when I saw Corrosion of Conformity, the Skull, Eric Wagner's other band, was opening, and then like this is because I'm drinking, but I forget which song it was that COC closed out with, but they did this song and they're like, oh, we never really have slide guitar, but they had a slide guitarist from Eric Wagner's band, The Skull, came out, and then he did slide guitar on one of these COC songs, and it sounded so fucking great. And I was like, fuck yeah, slide guitar is fucking awesome. Like,
It's
you know,
cool. Yeah, it's kind of a bitch, you know. Like not everyone can play it, but everyone thinks they can play it. So like there is the, you know, you got to get good intonation. You got to like work on your vibrato. I mean, if that's the style you're gonna play in. Like I kind of had to kind of muck it up because this is some dirty, greasy heavy metal. Like I don't want to come off sounding like fucking Derek Trucks and like, you know, play for people eating dinner. So
I mean, so that yeah, dude, not to interrupt, but does that bring another element? Like how could you do that live? Or are you just gonna have that as a backing track maybe? Or
no, live we're mean and lean.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have like, you know, I can just bust out a slide and go play a line. When I'm playing solos, I got my drummer making a lot of noise. My bass player's filling up the space, and we trust in the space. We trust in the groove.
it'll fill in.
Yeah, if I ever need to like harmonize something, I got that Digitech harmonizer pedal because I got to be Dimebag, you know.
Yeah.
So that thing comes out when I'm playing certain songs live. But yeah, I don't stress that. Like I think that the album sounds fucking rad. Us as a live band, we have a different vibe, and I love that because I think it's more punk the way we play live. It's more dangerous, it's more rock and roll, and we're not the fucking Eagles. Like that's the most uncool thing you could do is like come out and just fucking nail your album. Like
it's gotta have some character to it, you know. But that wait, so because I was just getting confused real quick. Is that the steel guitar, the slide guitar, the lap guitar you're using with the bar thing on your finger?
No, I got a.
Okay, yes, yeah.
This is my slide that I've been using forever. I bought this slide when I was like 19 years old. Yeah,
so educate my dumb ass on slide guitar, because I know there's I've seen it, like I was talking to the COC thing real quick. I was seeing the lap slide guitar, and then you can put the thing on your finger, like I was saying. So that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Now this slide right here, this is so this was on that track. This is Dean DeLeo's slide from Stone Temple Pilots. My wife was like front row at an STP concert, and he handed this to her. So I've been using this for like 10 years.
That's awesome.
Mojo, but this is the slide that I'm more dexterous on. So like,
but that one's got the spirit in it and the fucking, you know.
This is like, I used to really be obsessed with being a great slide player, and because of that, I wore this slide for about a year. Like, just like living my life. I'd be at work and people thought I broke my finger because I had this thing on all the time. And it turned my finger fucking permanently green for a really long time. But like, I really wanted to become one with my slide because I'm a fucking idiot. And
It's that
But,
mantra, I am the slide.
well, yeah, like I have the power of obsession. It doesn't make me easy to get along with. Yeah, I'm intolerable, but
I think you're a little bit tolerable. I'm tolerating you right now. It's okay.
You're a good dude. I think we are kind of cut from the same cloth. Like we're both fucking gingers. This is hair dye, my man. Like,
yeah,
I'm
you're betraying your people by dyeing your hair. You must own it.
yeah, no, that's true. Well, you know what? People realize that we do have the longest, like gene. Like cavemen had red hair, and that makes them afraid of us.
Well, you know what I say? Everybody else is just an R.T.Rip Off, right?
That's a scientific fact. Yeah, R.T.Rip Off. So there's a real story and a fake story for R.T.Rip Off. I got enough beer in me. I'll tell you the real story.
There we go. We like that, juicy sclusy right here.
My dad, his name is Rick Gaxiola. He's a bad motherfucker. The best guitar player I've ever heard. He's amazing. And back in the late 60s, early 70s, he was a shit hot lead guitar player. He was fucking beautiful. He played lead guitar in a band called Mama Lion and a band called Heavy Cruiser. And they were both managed by a guy named R.T.Rip. And R.T.Rip was his biggest cash cow was Billy Joel. But he Rick grew up in Highland Park. He's East LA for life, and like he's a dangerous dude. Sunset Strip back in the day, he's playing at fucking Barney's Beanery and fucking Gazzari's and shit, he's of that. Also, Rick's first wife was this gal Wendy, and Rick used to jam with Deep Purple, and he used to play with all those guys. Well, Rick and Wendy got divorced, and Wendy married Ronnie James Dio.
Oh, yeah.
Before she was married to Dio, she was married to my dad.
Oh, shit.
And Rick and Dio stayed friends after him and Wendy got divorced. And so when we lived in Big Bear, in 88, 89, Dio had a cabin up there, and they would go out on Big Bear Lake and smoke weed and shit. Just
that's awesome.
It's cool, and I didn't really know what was going on when I was a kid. I just thought Dio was the cool guy.
You're like, oh, hey, dude.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
I thought suits of armor were really cool, so I was like, "This is a cool guy." But yeah, but I wasn't raised hearing about the boogeyman or anything like that. I was raised hearing about R.T.Rip, and this was a guy that, as far as everyone in those bands were concerned, he ruined their lives. Like the music industry is just tough, and everyone's taking everyone, and that's how it is. And they felt like they were so close to success, but they were just fucked by R.T.Rip. So I've always had it in my mind, that's just the baddest dude is R.T.Rip, And I wrote a song called R.T.Rip, and, it's kind of in the vein of Humble Pie, it was like a rocker, And I shared the demo with Neil Merriweather, the band leader, Lynn Carey, the singer.
Yeah.
And I shared it with Rick, and they're all like, "Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, that guy fucked up our life, blah, 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 blah." And, Neil Merriweather died a couple years ago. He's a fucking legend. Rock and roll, heavy psych, Neil Merriweather, and the Space Rangers, all that. The guy's a fucking rock god, But all of his shit was owned by R.T.Rip. The guy had publishing on everything.
That's what sucks back in the day. one of the good things that comes out of the internet, people could do their own research. You can look into things a lot more. But back then, you had people taking motherfuckers for a ride. Like, oh, yeah, here, we're going to give you that record deal. Sign over all of your shit. There wasn't as easy as it is now for bands to like, hey, let me go on LegalZoom or some shit. And, like, have somebody look over this document for me or some shit, So...
kind of.
But I mean...
So,
you know what I'm saying.
To this day, like, most labels don't even want to know you unless you're going to sign over a label that has clout. There's all these labels that are just fan labels, and that's cool. But, like, a label with clout, like your Metal Blades, like, they're going to want some publishing. They're going to want some...
I have seen it where, it's not to cut you off, they do give it for like, hey, we get publishing for X amount of years. Or we, so that it's a little bit better, but still.
Yeah, well, and that's business. You got to give it to get it. Like, you got to find the balance, and it's not always a bad idea. But you got to be mindful, and I've always just known that if you like rock and roll, back in the day, we're gonna make it. By the year fucking 2005, it's like, okay, yeah, no one's ever gonna make it ever again. It's never gonna happen. So, okay, like when I was like a Sunset Strip glam rocker, there's fucking tumbleweeds going. Like, yeah, there was a scene, but none of us were getting signed, but we were out there just fucking like looking very exotic and with perfect fucking bangs, but like no contracts,
Yeah,
R.T.Rip. Now I wanted to I started realizing there's a fucking burner in here. Like, I started thinking I could kind of like black label it up. I can kind of like, I can kind of like make it rougher, gnarlier, and then there was no horror theme in it. So I turned the guy into a ghoul who feeds off the blood of Sunset Strip rockers. And
that's fucking what he was doing anyway, right?
Yeah, and also then I Googled R.T.Rip and I realized he's still alive. So because I didn't want to just go in the full tilt slander. And
you're like, I need to find balance before I hit libel fucking shit,
Yeah, so I changed Artie to RT, and then I changed Rip. It was spelled with 2 P's, like his name. I undid that. It's like, hey, why? I don't have to fucking murder this guy. Like, I don't have to fucking do that. Like,
but you're telling a true story, and you have proof and receipts to show what the fuck happened and what he was doing back then. Because there were a bunch of sleazeballs back then,
Yeah, but they were ripping off fucking drug addicts.
Yeah.
So it's like, like, who's to say it wasn't consensual, right? It's a sick world.
It was.
I'll tell you what, right now, yeah, it's a sick world. Hollywood is fucking disgusting. Yeah. It sucks. If you're out there to hustle. You're out there to network. You're out there to fuck. If you're not, move somewhere with cheaper rent. That's how it is. So, I
mean, I just like hitting the bow, the whiskey, the clubs. That's the only time I go out there is for a show now. And hit the fucking bow right after a show at the whiskey. I mean, that's always a good time. But other than that, I'm like, I don't want to hang out in Hollywood that long, and I can't even take that long,
I used to live right by the fucking Guitar Center. Guitar Center in Tucson. And then I lived, I lived all over, like, West and East LA, because I was a fucking couch surfing scumbag. And, so yeah, I'm real proud of this song. This song, actually, it's a groover. It's, again, like, this is the part of the album where we're really falling back on Big Pocket. This is where the pocket happens. And,
Let's rip it up then. This is the 6th track off the album, R.T.Rip Off. Let's kick it.
the name R.T.Rip. You can join the family, but first you gotta work for free. It's a rip-off, and I rip-off. It's a rip-off. Diamond fangs, teeth here to pull the strings. Stick a needle in your fingertip, inside of a line for R.T.Rip. A cage lying on a battleship, a blood sacrifice for Rip. It's a rip-off, yeah, a dirty rip-off. It's a rip-off. Technically, it ain't a crime if party gets rich and you don't make a dime. So back your 45 with a silver tip if you're gonna have a meeting with R.T.Rip. Caught in the devil's den because I trusted R.T.Rip. It's a rip-off, yeah, a dirty rip-off. It's a rip-off. It's a rip-off, yeah, a dirty rip-off. It's a rip-off, yeah, dirty rip-off. It's a rip, R.I.P., dirty rip-off. It's a rip, R.I.P. It's a rip, R.I.P. It's a rip.
Fuck yeah. Again, hitting it with that heavy riff. Like, so many of these songs just have that chunky riff that I fucking love, infused with that sleaziness where you just want to fucking headbang. Catchy choruses, you know, it's a rip-off. Ah, fuck, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Such a great track.
I try to go primal, and that makes things, for me, when it comes out of me, like, it sounds more natural and iconic. Like, by the second chorus, you know how to pump your fist.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you haven't
And you're
figured out-
singing along. You're like, it's a rip-off. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that's one thing where, like, because I'm a punk rocker, like, and I'm a glam rocker. Like, I have those two things in me, but I think that punk and glam are both these cleansing fires that come in to kind of like knock rock and roll down a few rungs to get down to the nitty gritty. Because, you know, virtuosity creeps in, money creeps in, you know, spandex, big tits, like all these things that like
It will
it's
taint
away-
it, you know?
Yeah, it gets away from the source material where it's 3 chords, 4 chords, and a cloud of dust. And I'd go primal instead of complicated. A lot of bands want to go faster, heavier, this, that. I just want to go.
Sometimes you got to
more
strip it down, keep it raw, keep it simple, catchy choruses, fucking recognizable riffs like we were talking about. With that same tone, you know this is a Spellgrinder song. You know you're going to bang your fucking head. You're going to sing along to that riff. And it again, a great story. a true story, as well as shit that a cautionary tale for people to look out for. Don't get ripped off by a shit sleazebag manager or promoter. You know, it's a cautionary tale for bands to be like, oh shit, like, are we doing our due diligence with this dude? Is he over promising us shit? Maybe we should slow down. You know.
Well, hey, you know what? Like most people, no one's offering them anything. So, you know, just know the only reason these people are talking to you is because they think that they can make money through knowing you. Whose money is that going to be? Is it your money? Is it their money? We don't know. So you always got to look out for yourself. You got to CYA. Secret stuff in that song. There, Power Trip. What is it? Live in Seattle. What album is that? Yeah, Power Trip Live in Seattle from 2018.
Oh, when they says get the fuck off your phone, that one?
Yeah. The first
on the Nightmare Logic, right?
I think is Drown. It's like it's called Drown intro, and it's just like, it's a riff very similar to that. Real simple drum beat, and it's like, oh my god, I'm doing everything wrong. Like Power Trip, I think is one of the best fucking.
I know.
You know.
Did you watch them at No Values?
No. No. They were okay. So I would have loved to have seen them.
I know. I see Fugitive too, but it just sucks. There was so much. So not to like go off of that. My buddy who's been to a bunch of European festivals, we were talking about how they scheduled everything, and that was just too many bands for one fucking day.
Yeah, it was Stoops. Yeah. Well, so the reason it's not that they are not high on my radar, but they were scheduled during Social Distortion.
And you're a big social and
that's the wrong two bands to be scheduled with. Because
I had to split my time between all of them. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, like Social Distortion and Iggy Pop are like both in my like top 5. I love those guys. Not that I haven't seen them a million fucking times, but
you know, everybody has those bands you're like, I have to see them. Like, sorry, it's higher priority. I went and I saw like a few songs of Power Trip, and then I saw them the next night. So that entire weekend, I went to 4 shows that weekend, so I was fucking exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that they did that. It's weird, though, because, like, usually promoters are like, you can't go and play in a certain area in a certain time frame. And that's another thing that apparently No Values didn't fucking give a shit about. So it's like...
So those other side shows that were in LA was put on by Golden Voice. So, like, they were either sponsoring them or, like, the bands come down here. And if you're from, you know, far away, you're going to hit other shows around this. And I touched on it a bit in a video I did, and I was saying sometimes it might be better to hit the side shows around the big festival like this than go to the big festival. Because if, like, I know it sucks, I didn't get to watch Jesus Lizard, and then Jesus Lizard played at Garden Grove Amphitheater, which I saw was a killer, fucking looked like a killer set. But I went to Power Trip that night at the Fonda instead. I seen Power Trip, fortunately, like only three times, and then, you know, seeing them now with the Fugitive vocalists. Yeah, they're cool, man. Like, it blows my mind that Power Trip has like fucking like maybe $30,000 worth of Marshall stacks on their stage. Like, that's a pretty affluent like band, man. But are they real Marshalls? Are they the empty cabs?
Marshall stacks, you know, like, I mean, are they rented? Like, that's quite a fucking backdrop, you know, like.
It's like a Black Label backdrop.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach's got that fucking like
wall. Yeah, he's got that entire wall, you know.
Yeah, now he's got like the Wild Audio wall. You know?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that shit's dope. That shit is.
Hell yeah.
I think it looks great. I try to price it out because I would like to have that behind me. So I start like, oh yeah, I can't afford that shit.
You just go to fucking Home Depot, build yourself some cabs, like 3D print a Marshall label, spray paint it, and you can get pretty much all that shit is for show. Because are those amps plugged in? They're not fucking plugged in. You aren't using all those fucking amps. You're using the 2 or 3 main ones with your lines, with everything run through it. Those are mic'd up. All those other amps aren't fucking mic'd, you know?
Yeah, they're going through a fucking Sansan.
Yeah.
No, like their tone is legit too. Like Power
Oh,
Trip
yeah.
are clearly lovers of Pantera. You hear
Oh,
the riffs, you hear the fucking licks. Like they're legit. I like Power Trip a lot. They were the sonic reference for mixing and mastering our first album. Like when I sent it for mixing and mastering, I sent Executioner's Tax
uh,
as the sonic reference because it sounded classic, but it
yeah.
also sounded modern.
Yep.
And I was like, I want me some of that. So, but with this new album, there's different sonic reference points, but also, because I had the same guy mixing and mastering it as the first album because I want to have some continuity, some cohesion. So I was also like, but also I don't want people to listen to the first album and hear my second album and think it sounds like a fucking
So
turd.
that
So
sonic references are great because I feel like my dad always told me this too. He's like, that's the problem with like Rat and why they didn't get as big as they did, because whoever they had producing and mixing their records and everything, every Rat album almost sounded like kind of similar. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but you don't want your first record, second record just sounding like a continuation. You know what I'm saying? You want those differences, and I could clearly hear the differences between this record and the first record.
I appreciate that. And that's deliberate because I like a band. I like albums to be a statement, but I like a band that has different statements, different arcs. I like a band that bums out their fans sometimes, but it gets you new fans. It challenges your existing fans, and it expands what you do.
Yeah.
Like even the Ramones, as like monotonous as their statements seem to be, it always changed.
Yeah.
Go album by album, it always changed. And there's the doubting voice inside of you sometimes, or there's just your creativity needs to come out. But also, like when you get bands like Rat, those guys they're very talented morons, and but also there's so much money. They're not really talented morons, okay? I mean, they're really talented. They're not morons. I'm sorry. Okay, but
Stephen Percy, if you're watching this,
yeah, not you, Stephen, not you. Everyone else but you. But no, like there's a lot of money involved in that. So when you have the money involved, Rat didn't pick their producer.
That's what I'm saying. That was
they didn't like him, and then he actually delivered. And so for the second album, the record company was like, "No, we're going to put you with him again because he knows how to work with you guys." And they didn't like it, and they did it. Also, with their guitar sounds on the first album, Warren and Robin are using the same fucking Marshall because they only had one. By the time they did the second album, Warren didn't like that they just shared an amp. He thought it was like, oh. So he, on that first tour, he bought like 300 fucking Marshall heads and 5 million cabs and warehoused them all. And then when they were doing the guitar sounds for the second album, he would just go in there and play on every one and just burn his ears out. They eventually ended up using the same fucking amp that they used on the first album, and they just didn't tell him. And I mean, like, because that's being creative doesn't mean you're deliberate. It doesn't mean you're smart. Like, and you can see when a lot of bands, it gets away from them. So yeah, like Rat.
But you get what I'm saying. I love Rat, but when it comes to mixing and mastering, it's either you need good sonic references, like you said, or you want to try a different ear. Somebody who will breathe new life into it and say, like, hey, like, what if you were to do this? And you're like, oh, shit, that works great. Because there's few bands that I'll give a pass to. And two of them, I'll say this. AC/DC, almost every record, it's an AC/DC album. But it's fucking great. That's their fucking formula. That's the OG formula. That's great. Motorhead. Every fucking record sounds like a Motorhead record. You don't need to change that shit. But when it came to some of these newer bands who were trying to establish their sound, you don't want them to... you want, like you said, peaks and valleys. You want those differences. This is this era. This was this, So that's all I'm saying. It's just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, the edge that I have over Rat is that They were really talented, hungry young men. I'm not young. And
You have a little bit more time to think, you know?
yeah, I have more miles on me. I got a wider palette of skill sets. I do it all. So because I am the engineer, I am the producer, and those are actual skills I've developed over my life. So this is just the fun thing for me doing Spellgrinder is I already have that arc pre-mapped. I already have the next album completely written. It's a concept album
Oh, yeah.
called Book of Amduat. It's about
Whoa.
it's
Whoa.
about the, yeah. It's
Are we
about the
getting
money.
are we getting an exclusive sneak peek right here already? Shit.
I don't have anything that I'll play for you.
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying like the title and everything. Have you announced that yet?
Yeah. The album is going to be called Book of Amduat, and it is a concept. It's a conceptual album. The whole album's a concept album about a cursed mummy, and his body is traveling around in a freak show.
Fuck yeah.
And then someone steals the sacred amulet, and he comes to life, and it's a tragic love story. But that's what the album is, and that's very exciting to me. And it's going to, like, sound wise, it is going to be an evolution from the sound. It's going to sound different than these two albums. And
Experiment.
I'm very excited about it.
Oh yeah. All right, dude. So set us up for Voodoo Fingers. I remember you saying earlier in the day this is like one of your favorite tracks off the album. I believe.
Love Voodoo Fingers, yeah. It's you know, it's about voodoo. It's maybe about
fingering.
You know,
Voodoo fingering.
Yeah, it's about fingering. Is that what you said?
Yeah, voodoo fingering.
It's a brutal song. It's fucking, you know, it's a finger banger, man. So it starts off with like a sample from the movie White Zombie. Like I sampled a little bit at the beginning, like intro, and then I sampled like one of the rituals, and I just kind of like overlaid them, so it was like a new sound bite that no one had ever really heard, and that kind of sets the stage for this movie. Thematically, it sounds kind of punk, or like Guns N' Roses punky, you know, like it's got some like hardcore little staccato stuff in there, but it's a burner. It's about wanting to be brought alive so you can be in love and all sorts of fun adult themes.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
So there's a bit of fingering involved.
Well, there's always fingers involved. That's how you tenderize the meat, man. You gotta get the shit warmed up.
Right. Hell yeah. So let's check out this 7th track off the album, Voodoo Fingers. Let's do it. Hell yeah. Another killer track. Forgive me, everybody, for eating fucking pizza. These riffs were so tasty, it made me get some pizza.
Yeah, no, Spellgrinder pairs well with pizza.
Mm-hmm. And beer.
Yep. The sommelier recommends Spellgrinder with pizza.
Right. No, but again, Voodoo Fingers had that kind of a cult kind of fucking theme going for it. Like you said, you sampled the White Zombie stuff at the beginning. Killer fucking track. I loved how it flowed. It was didn't drag on. Yeah, again, I love your choruses. Voodoo Fingers, this is the reason I love your band. It's just I love good how do you say drinking music per se. You don't have to drink to listen to this, but good chants, good choruses. If I could, sing along with the song, even if I haven't seen this band live before, like you said, but the like second chorus, you already know it and you're singing along. That's how you know you got a good fucking song. When you have people listening to a new song for the first time, singing along to it already. Fucking love it, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that. A big chorus is important to me. It's one of the big things I respond to in music that I listen to. When I am writing music, it's not always there. A lot of times it is. I'll walk around the house just singing a hook and I'm like, oh, this is the shit. But a big thing is I like hooks. I like setting up a chorus. So nothing sets up a chorus like a fucking badass pre-chorus. And that has to exist in contrast to the hook that is the verse that comes in from the intro. So you're playing with attention spans. A lot of people don't listen to whole songs. So any 15 seconds of that song should have something that's interesting.
That's why it's a hook. You can go anywhere into the song, and I find it interesting, especially when it starts, going to Voodoo Fingers. Like, that rolls off the tongue. It sounds so good. And, I mean, you trust me, we've all heard songs with terrible choruses. We're like, this doesn't flow. I don't even want to sing this if I'm watching it live. I'm like, this doesn't work. But all of these songs are just so fun. And some of the lyrical content, it just flows so good. And I fucking love it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the original name for that song was Dirty Fingers.
Voodoo Fingers sounds a lot better to me.
Yeah, well, and it didn't have the zombie theme.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like a love song, but it was about like withdrawing from heroin. Another thing, like
but you could go back. You could go back and reuse that. So if you had,
that's it. Yeah, and also like, isn't drug addiction like being a zombie?
And it's like being in love.
Exactly.
Drug addiction. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's all cool, and as long as like you can fucking like pump your fist to it, bang your head to it, you're gonna see more titties than blood in the audience, because that is part of the vibe I'm putting out there. I'm not trying to have my shit shut down for 10 minutes because your buddy can't fucking like stop killing people.
I mean, right? It's like I am not opposed to having blood-covered tits in a show, though.
Blood-covered tits. Okay.
There you go. There's the next song title.
Shit, that's our new genre.
Hey, this is blood-covered tit music. I want to see chicks like drooling blood onto their tits or something. I don't fucking know.
I mean, like, it's turning me on. Like, yeah, I like.
There you go. Blood and tits. Just like the exploited sex and violence. You got it right. Blood and tits.
Well, we love that stuff. Goddamn. Yeah.
Blood and tits. Blood and tits.
Okay, so that's where the music comes from, okay? Like, you're talking shit with your buddy. Your buddy says blood and tits, and you're just like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, your buddy turns on the radio. He's like, blood and tits. And it's just like, why would I not write a song?
There you go. There you go. Blood and tits. You heard it here first, folks.
Oh yeah, and watch you not get any songwriting credit too.
I don't need it. I sign them all away because I just gave you the song name. Write something about that. Blood and tits. I want, something sleazy, something bloody. Yeah. Give me something sleazy and bloody. Like, that's what the next one's going to be.
Yeah.
I could, that could be even like a fucking slasher flick. Blood and tits,
Well, yes.
That's what isn't that what slasher flicks are? It's like Jason movies, Freddy movies. You're always going to see blood and tits. So.
Yeah, that's a major theme in my daily life. Like, I love it.
Right.
I'm a horror fanatic. Like,
I mean, look, right? I mean, well, I can't point to it, but anyway, aliens right there. I love more of the, because I talked to, we know Eddie. Shout out to Realms of Metal right there. That's how I got introduced to you, by the way. Eddie kicks ass. But we did a whole horror thing, and I'm more into the physical horror, zombies, aliens, that kind of shit. And he likes the psychological demons, ghosts, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Leviathan?
Leviathan, is that the underwater movie or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Leviathan is basically like Alien meets The Thing underwater.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking great. It's got fucking RoboCop in it.
Yeah.
It's got Rambo's commanding officer in it. It's got everyone that was working back then. And it's just like, it's got like eat this, you son of a bitch. Like, it's got these lines in it.
Yep.
Wow.
I always get... Yeah, no, it's fucking great. I always get tripped out with that movie. And what's the other one? Was it The Abyss or
Deep Blue Sea? No, what the fuck?
Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of them. That whole genre of underwater
they
horror.
All suck. And
Leviathan is great. Rules. Yeah, yep. That's
Leviathan
a good one.
Rules, best movie ever. Everyone agrees. Watching it, saw Leviathan. It's like, whoa, this is a good movie, Leviathan. Whoa.
Hell yeah! Before we get into the last track and like wrapping all of this up, real quick, watch any good horror movies lately? Let's do a horror movie thing.
Yeah, Leviathan.
There you go. Have you watched Where Evil Lurks?
Where Evil Lurks? I don't think so.
It's a Argentinian horror movie. It should be Where Evil Lurks or When Evil Lurks. Maybe I got that wrong. Let me see real quick.
Okay.
Where Evil Lurks, right?
The first thing, why is When Evil Lurks disturbing?
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, it's When Evil Lurks.
Yeah.
Okay, so really good movie.
I have seen this.
Yeah. I liked it because it was kind of like the demon was like an infection and it spread between people. I fucking love that concept. I actually saw the premiere of it and the director was there talking about it and everything. It was fucking really cool. Anyway, that's my pick so far for this year. I love that movie.
That's a good one. Like as far as this year, oh my god, like what came out this year?
There was the Omen prequel.
Oh, I love that. I thought that was great.
It was all right. I mean,
could have been a turd. Are you an Omen fan?
Omen's cool, but I mean, I'm not into it as other people. Like, I need to like rewatch some of them to remember the shit. But
I fucking love the Omen.
I thought the prequel dragged a bit, and I got kind of bored. There was like a lull with like the chicks going to like Italy or Rome the first time. I'm like, fuck, this is getting boring.
Yeah, well, it had that like late 70s, early 80s tone back when they were just kind of taking their time. It has like a sepia wash to it.
Yeah.
It's all supposed to kind of hit and be paced like those horror movies. Sometimes they do that and it's just kind of like, it's boring. I thought that the tone set on that one was right on. Like, there have been some movies like that. Like, I liked that Predator movie that came out on Hulu, like the new Prey. I liked Prey.
Okay, that movie took me the fuck out of it because when you have Native Americans speaking English before there were even settlers there, I'm like, and why are they speaking their native tongue and then speaking English? I hate that shit. I'd rather watch it. I would rather watch it all in subtitles or all in English. Don't have them say
to yourself. Like, I don't like that. Subtitles, like, how the fuck am I
But
gonna,
okay,
like,
but you get what I'm saying, because it takes me out of the movie, because now I'm like, okay, these are obviously actors. I can't get into it. Like, and then it's either they all speak English or they all speak their native tongue, like I said, because if you have them say their like certain words in their tongue while in an English sentence, it doesn't make sense to me, and I'm like, I don't know. That pulled me the fuck out of it. But I get it. I get it.
That's a bummer. Like, so I watch a lot of movies all the time. I watch a lot of movies that fucking suck. So, like, I get pleasantly surprised. I also liked. I mean, Hulu's been knocking them out of the park as far as like these getting these properties. I liked what they did with Hellraiser. I liked the new Hellraiser. Well, that's it, man.
But
like, I like properties. I like knowing what's happening in that universe. It's not always the best thing. I like the new Indiana Jones movie. If they made a fucking Back to the Future where like Marty McFly has Parkinson's, I would watch that.
No, of course I would too. Yeah,
I care about the characters to the point where it's like, all right, fine. Like all Indiana Jones movies, I fucking love.
Okay, I like Crystal. I like King of the Crystal Skull. Or I like Crystal Skull better than I do than Dial of Destiny.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I thought was better. But
yeah,
Dial of Destiny, they kind of dialed it down a little from Crystal Skull, but like they didn't lose me at like Rebel Without a Cause swinging through the trees with monkeys. Like I was
true.
like, oh,
okay, that's true. That's
whatever.
True. That's true. But okay. I digress. We could turn this into another 3 hours just talking about movies, which we should do. If you're ever down for a horror movie just video, let's do that, where we talk about our favorite horror movies and fucking shit.
Well, I'll tell you right now because it's relevant. My favorite horror movie of all time is The Bride of Frankenstein.
And I could tell.
It's
so that's
not even just a segue. Like that is my favorite movie.
And that is why I wanted to talk about horror movies for a second before we get into this next track, the last track, closing out the album, a horror ballad. Let's go into Bride of Frankenstein, track number 8 off the album. Let's hit it.
compose, crumbling walls, burning machines. We belong there, long to smithereens, singing la 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 la, la 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 la.
So that was the last track, and what a way to close out a fucking album. Gives you a little bit of reprieve. It gives you a kind of nice, slow, easy way out of the album that makes you want to flip it over and start it again, I think, you know?
Yeah. There's an old saying, why are poops tapered? It's so your butt don't slam shut, you know? And you want to... you want to build an album like you build a turd, you know? You want it to have it kind of like taper out. So.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
No, that ballad was so good. There's the horror theme in it. You know, the la 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 kind of chorusy kind of thing going with you. That is the crowd chant where you're playing live, where you go everybody with us, and everybody will be singing along to that. And I think
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
You know, like fucking like
that's a stadium tune. Yeah. Fuck the cell phone shit. I don't smoke anymore, but yeah, you always do the lighter. Even though I always tell my chick or somebody I grab a lighter, like fuck the cell phone shit.
Yeah,
it's so cheesy.
I feel like for some reason like Spellgrinder is gonna have a lot of hairspray in the audience, so watch out. There could be like a fucking brush fire.
No, but great way to close out an album. I think this album just went up and up and up. It hit a certain plateau, which is a good plateau. It hit its peak and it kept going, and it eased us on the way out. And I think the sequencing of the tracks, you put them together in a great way that flows with the album. And I think that's lost in a lot of albums nowadays, where they kind of just throw them in wherever, you know?
Yeah. You know, like people may have a rhyme or reason. They may just not care. They don't have faith that their audience is going to actually listen to it in full form, so they don't even consider it. And I am a lover of albums.
I love LPs.
I love mythology of albums, and I like the albums that are just fucking solid. That's a great album. There's other albums where it's like, yeah, half the songs on this album are fucking garbage, but it has Little Deuce Coupe on it, and you know, like it's just like, and that's how you got to eat it. But this song, I like that it's very challenging. Like I told you, I'm very like contrary. And what better challenge to put than at the very end of your second heavy metal album? And I got a lot of fans that they like certain aspects of it. This is a challenge, and this is going to say like, all right, there is a fucking like,
hey, yeah,
there's a piano.
Nailing a ballad in today's times is kind of hard because some of the best ballads have already been written. How do you stand out without copying that and, making it your own. And I think you nailed it with the theme. The theme played into it, because you have the love ballads, you have all of that shit, but this is the Bride of Frankenstein, a horror ballad, which is fucking great.
It's depressing.
Yeah.
It's depressing because he's lonely.
Yeah.
He wants love. He sees this lady when he's in a crypt, and he's like, this is her, and he wants to bring her back to life so that he can have a mate. As soon as she comes into consciousness, she rejects him, and he realizes, like, this is evil, what we've done to her. He can talk now for some reason, and he says, we belong dead, and he destroys the whole fucking laboratory, and it's like, oh my God, like it's tragic. It makes Romeo and Juliet look like fucking bullshit. Like it's amazing. It's so operatic. Like, not the song, the movie.
No, and just the story behind it all. Hey, Spooky, it's been fucking great talking to you. We went for a very long time, but I had such a great time listening to the entire album, hearing your stories, listening to me ranting. Sorry, I've been going through a few of these while we've been doing this. Same with you. Anything else you want to plug before we say goodbye to everybody, all the fine people in the internet world?
Nah.
Fuck what? I mean, what else can we said that hasn't been said already?
I'm just, I'm thrilled to be here. We're here to stay. Bob Seger.
I will give him another shot. Brother, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining me. Again, Spellgrinder's new album, Planet of the Vampires, is out July 4th. That would have been yesterday. So please pick it up. And if you want albums today, thank you for tuning in. I have a lot more stuff coming on. And this will not be the last time we ever speak, Spooky. I am looking forward to hanging out with you sometime in the near future.
Man, hell yeah.
Brother, take it easy.
Peace.